You know, in the music business, just two little words can literally define an artist's entire legacy. Today, we're going to dive into this high-stakes battle between owning your own art and signing it away forever.
I mean, think about that for a second. It is a really serious question, and in the world of music contracts, the answer is a big, loud yes. A single word can decide whether the songs you pour your heart into belong to you or to a corporation, pretty much for the rest of time.
And the stakes just couldn't be higher. This isn't just about some boring legal jargon or how royalties get split up. No, this is the fundamental difference between building a creative legacy for yourself and your family or losing it completely. Okay, so let's get right into it. This entire conflict, it really boils down to these two concepts, perpetuity and reversion. Each one represents a completely different future for your music, and we're going to break down exactly what they mean for you.
The best way to think about it is like you're at a crossroads, choosing a path. One path sends your life's work on a journey, forever, without you. But the other path, it makes sure that eventually your work finds its way back home.
So, here's the absolute core difference, side by side. With perpetuity, ownership is forever, period. There's no end date. And if the company that owns your music gets sold, well, your rights get sold right along with it. But with reversion, ownership eventually comes back to you, the creator. It's like a built-in safety net for your legacy.
Let's be absolutely crystal clear about this word, perpetuity. It means forever, literally. When you see this in a contract, it means the label or the publisher owns your rights for the rest of time. They never expire. You are permanently out of the ownership picture.
Reversion, on the other hand, well, that's the artist's escape hatch. It's the clause that says, okay, you can own this for a while, but not forever. It sets a very specific timeline. Maybe it's 15, 20, or 25 years, and after that time is up, the rights revert back to the person who made the work in the first place.
And look, this isn't just some abstract legal theory. This is a real-world battle that's been fought by some of the biggest names in music history. Taylor Swift, Prince, Paul McCartney, they all had to fight to regain control of their own catalogs, which just goes to show you how critical fighting for reversion really is.
So all this brings us to a really key question. If perpetuity is so obviously bad for artists, why do labels and publishers push for it so hard? Let's try and look at it from their point of view for a minute.
I mean, why is this the one thing they aim for in so many contracts? The answer, it turns out, has way less to do with the art of music and a whole lot more to do with the business of assets.
And that's the heart of it right there. For a company, a song isn't just a beautiful piece of art. It's a revenue-generating asset. And owning that asset in perpetuity means they can count on that money coming in for decades and decades, long after the artist has stopped recording.
For the label, it really all comes down to three things. A perpetuity clause guarantees them a long-term revenue stream. It also turns your music catalog into a super valuable, multi-million-dollar asset on their books. And maybe most importantly, it gives them permanent control and leverage over how your work is ever used.
Okay, now let's flip this back to the artist's perspective, because this is where that business strategy becomes a hidden trap. So many musicians sign these rights away without even realizing the full scope of what they're actually agreeing to.
And this right here is the really crucial part. The word perpetuity might not even be in the contract. Instead, you'll see these super sneaky phrases. Throughout the universe sounds kind of cool and grand, and for the duration of copyright seems pretty standard, right? But they both mean the exact same thing, forever. They're just perpetuity in disguise.
And that's the most dangerous part of all this. This isn't a mistake you can just fix later on down the road. Once you've signed a perpetuity clause, getting those rights back is an uphill, super expensive, and honestly often impossible battle. The ink is permanent.
Okay, so after all of that, I think the most important question is, how do you protect yourself, right? How do you take control of your contract and make sure that you're the one who ultimately owns your own legacy?
Well, here are 4 clear, actionable steps you can take. Number 1, always negotiate for a reversion clause with a defined term. Number 2, actively avoid any language that even hints at forever and push for a time-limited license instead. 3, you can even add performance conditions, like if the label doesn't promote your music, the right should come back to you. And finally, the golden rule, the most important one, get a music lawyer to read every single word.
Because you know what? At the end of the day, it really does come down to this. The difference between owning your music for a set term versus somebody else owning it for life can be just a few words buried deep in a contract. Paying attention is everything.
So, we'll just leave you with this one final thought. Long after the music's been made,
long after the tours are over, who's going to own your story? Will it be you, or will it be the company you signed that piece of paper with decades ago? The answer to that question is written in your contract.